Hey everyone, welcome to the channel or welcome back to the channel. Hey, if you've been following what I've been doing over the last week since I got my Tab XC, I've been posting a series of videos. The first one was just addressing what does the writing feel like, what is the screen like, those types of things. And then I started responding to viewer comments and questions, wanting to know other specific things about the Tab XC. So there are 6 previous videos in the last week to this one. This will be the number 7th video. And in this one, I want to address a viewer question about how does the color on the Tab XC compare to the Remarkable Paper Pro. So we're going to look at some PDF files with color comparison between the two. I'll also, for reference, kind of like to have the reference document, I'm going to have an iPad Pro to show you what the document looks like on an OLED screen, just to know what the original colors looked like as well. So, hey, just a real quick favor from you. So, I'm a new channel, up and coming. If you like what you're seeing here, if you're finding value in this, please take a moment and like and subscribe. It'll really help the channel out and help me to make more content like this. And I would really appreciate it. So, with that said, let's jump in and look at the comparison. So first of all, I wanted to show you the files that we're going to be looking at in the, just in their state, their preview state or thumbnail state on each device. On the left, I've got the Remarkable Paper Pro, and on the right, I've got the Tab XC. I do not have the front light on either device, just to kind of give you an idea of what they look like compared to each other. The light is kind of centered between both of them so that it's not favoring one or the other. You will notice that the Tab XC is a little bit darker with no front light on. And just to make sure it's not the position on the table, I'm going to swap them out and make sure that the one's not getting favorable lighting compared to the other one. So you see that the Tab XC is still darker than the Remarkable Paper Pro in its initial state there. What I wanted to do is compare these devices, how I use them. Hopefully this will be something that you find value in as well. So on the Remarkable Paper Pro, I do have the upgraded OS where it's given the extra brightness. I've got that turned on. So this is what the Remarkable Paper Pro looks like with full backlight or full front light. On the Tab XC, I could go full front light. That's what it's going to look like if I do, but that's not how I use it. I use it at about 70%. So I'm going to back this down to somewhere in that neighborhood. That's probably 65, 70% front light on that. So you see the comparison between the two when you look at it just that way. So I took some screenshot, or I took some pages from People magazine, and they're all in PDF format. And then I also used a printer color test page that I wanted to start off here. So this is a comparison of, if you're going to use your printer to test and make sure that all your colors are accurate, um, this is a type of page that you would use for that. So the first thing that I noticed right off the bat is that you got a whiter screen on the Tab XC, and the screen on the Remarkable Paper Pro has kind of a yellow tint to the background, which is going to be, we're going to see that all throughout the test. And so here's some observations that I've made about the Remarkable Paper Pro. So it looks like the colors are more vibrant on the Remarkable, especially when you get into stuff like the yellows or the pinks here. Um, that's something that Remarkable is known for being, those colors kind of pop on the Remarkable. My theory is that yellow they really focused on, and this could just be a theory only, but most people highlight in yellow, so they really wanted that to be a color that was focused on. Where on the Tab products or the Boox products, you see that blues maybe look a little bit more realistic. And I'm going to show you what the original colors looks like. I'm going to use the iPad Pro for reference. So first of all, compare it to the Tab XC. You see that the colors, especially the yellows and the pinks, do not, they're much, much more muted compared to the original than the Remarkable is when you compare it to the original. You see that that pink and that yellow really pop out on the Remarkable as compared to the Boox device. So that's the first comparison. The second comparison here is the magazine cover for People magazine. And you can notice, you can look at the color differences here. I played around. It does look like the Remarkable Paper Pro is a little more vibrant on the colors. However, you notice that on the sleeve here, you've got a yellow tint here, where over here it's more of a white or a blue white. When you look at the original picture here, that is more of a white color. It does not have the yellow tint. So that yellow tint is kind of pervasive on the Remarkable Paper Pro. Even the title of the magazine, People, you see that it's got a little bit of a yellow tint on the Remarkable, where it's more of a whitish color on the Tab XC. Um, if I played with some e-ink settings on the Tab XC to kind of see what we could do. Went into custom here. So color brightness is turned all the way down. So I'm just going to go to the other extreme, bring color brightness all the way up. You get a little bit better, I guess, contrast there, but also playing around with a vividness enhancement. And we can bring that up and probably get a little bit better image there. Can also play around with dark color enhancement and see if that makes any kind of an impact on it. And we get a little bit better image there. I could go a little bit more extreme on any of that. The key is that you can customize all this stuff on the books. Whereas on the Remarkable Paper Pro, you have no control. It's a kind of what you see is what you get. So I'm going to back that off a little bit. I liked it kind of here a little bit better, but you still see more muted colors on this side. You see the yellow tint on this side, but colors that pop a little bit more. I'm going to show you from the iPad Pro how those look comparatively. Just my judgment, and your opinion may vary, but I do think that even with the yellow tint, I think that maybe the Remarkable Paper Pro pops a little bit better, although this may be a truer representation of the picture. So here's another page in People magazine. You can see here, once again, this one has some color, some yellow colors in the text of the document, and then up here around the top of the document as well. And Remarkable is really popping on that. Although you see that the images down here are kind of washed in yellow, probably to an extreme, where that is probably not the intent of the image. Over here, the yellow is not popping. It's more of a off-white or a beige color, as well as up here at the top. But I do have a true white for here, where it's not quite as much there. I wanted to show you what the original looks like. I think the Remarkable nailed, once again, the yellow is a strong color for Remarkable, but you also see that there were some greens in here that I think Remarkable is pushing more towards the yellow scale. And when you look at it from this side, once again, we've missed the vibrant yellow colors on the Tab XC, but other aspects are probably maybe better rendered. Once again, on this, you see that I don't know, you got the background back here that I think maybe a little bit better on the Remarkable Paper Pro. Um, so really, your judgment call on that. See what you think. So this is an image where on the original image, I want to show you this right off the bat. So on the original image, there's a lot of browns, a lot of kind of reddish brown colors in here. So as you come back and you look at this, one thing that really strikes me about the Remarkable here is the yellow tint on the whole page, like I mentioned earlier, where you get a more true white page from the Tab XC. But when you look at the colors and the browns, which, and the reddish colors, a lot of this does have yellow that makes up the color palette here. It really pops a little bit better in the Remarkable Paper Pro, where it looks a little bit more muted here. I'll bring this back in just for reference and compare the two. And then with the Tab XC, I think the Remarkable is really pushing those yellows, and it's in a lot of in a lot of pictures, it really makes a difference. Okay, another page from the same magazine. As you can see, the date on that is May 26th, 2025, which we haven't made it there yet. But on this one, you do have, once again, that's a pervasive yellow tint to the background, where this is more true white compared to the original. The colors on the shirt versus here, I'll show you from a reference document standpoint. As you can see that the background is white here. So it really shows that yellow tint on the Remarkable Paper Pro. Shirt looks pretty good though. And then when you look over here, you see that it's a more of a match for the background. Also, I think the shirt looks really good on the Tab XC here as well, because there's not a lot of yellowish colors in there, although there are some yellows. I think it really looks good on both devices. And in my opinion, if you're not comparing the Remarkable Pro to any other device, I really don't notice the yellow as much, but you certainly do. It's a huge contrast when you put it side by side with this one. And then I wanted to show a page of text also from the magazine. They both look very crisp to me. I think, and this is just a judgment or an opinion, I think that the text on the Tab XC looks sharper than it does on the Remarkable Paper Pro. I'll bring these up to the screen, so hopefully you'll be able to see a little bit of a close-up on this. I'm focusing on that paragraph that starts off, "You may know John Olson." That's pretty good sharp text. So let me do the same thing with Remarkable Paper Pro so you can get a feel for that. Focus on that same paragraph. They both look really good in my opinion. Maybe it's just my eyes and I can't discern that one is better than the other, but I think either one would be acceptable to me from a reading standpoint. When you look at the iPad, this is what you got there. Of course, it's hard to video that screen. But there you go. There's the comparison between the Tab XC and the Remarkable Paper Pro with some colored PDF documents. It's pretty interesting. I think it's going to be a user preference as to whether the yellow tint on the Remarkable Paper Pro is an enhancement because of how it just pops some of those colors out, especially colors with yellow in it. Or if you want more of a pure white background, a little bit more muted colors, but maybe not, quite skewed to, one particular end of the palette or not. Hopefully this was helpful for you. If there's anything else that you want to see or you have questions on it, I want to try to bring value, as I said, to this channel to where I can answer your questions and maybe, shoot out some videos that are useful to the community. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next video.